Live from Los Angeles. Welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jessica Moyer. This is Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Are also available on Apple TV, Roku, and Twitch.
That's right, where it's hashtag Wealth Wednesday. We're going to talk about closing the gap between where you are and where you want to be, what's holding people back, and getting down to the root of true motivation.
I love it, that's right.
We come together each morning to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, get some inspiration, and we're warm again.
Oh my goodness,
well,
yes.
it's not like freezing.
It's getting there.
It's getting a little bit better,
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
We're heading in the right direction.
That's
what
right.
matters.
What better conversation to start the day with on hashtag Wealth Wednesday than some hashtag priceless?
Uh-oh,
right?
yes.
Mm-hmm. We are so excited to welcome our very special guest to the show. Good morning, everyone, back in the studio.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning. Liz Carla has got the mic. You know, she has motherhood unstressed.
She sure does.
She does. Good morning, Liz.
Good morning, guys. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we are excited that you are here. So tell us a little bit about how you start your day. What's your morning routine like, Liz?
So no matter what's going on, if the kids are up or not, I always start my day with gratitude. First thing, just pull something from the ether, 3 things that I'm grateful for, and then I down some lemon water, do some movement, meditate for at least 5 minutes, and I'm good to go.
Wow, even with kids, you're able to meditate. That's pretty incredible.
Yes,
You
it
have
is.
to.
5
You
minutes,
have to.
it's like-
The more kids, the more necessary it is to meditate in the mornings.
Well, Tiffany is in the house. I am totally loving your new song, Priceless.
Thank you so much.
What a great way to start the day. I'm excited to know what the inspiration was. Save it for later. So tell us, how do you start your morning routine? What's your morning?
Gosh, I wish mine was, I'm taking tips from you. I basically just wake up. I'm a coffee addict. I was talking about this earlier. I love to just down a few cups of coffee. I love to snuggle my cats. I have 2 cats, Cinderella and Belle. And then I usually catch up on social media, which I know they say you should not do in the morning right when you wake up. But with what I do, I just love to be connecting with as many people as possible, especially when it comes to my music. So that's pretty much how I start my morning.
We are firm believers in doing what works here.
Yep.
If it works,
Exactly.
do it.
Totally.
right.
Well, we are thrilled to welcome Lisa Thomas to the house. She is an intuitive life coach and energy healer. I think we could all use your help after that whatever moon.
That's right. Full moon gives us energy for a lot of people. Okay, what do? Well, I start my day in bed by doing active, what do I want to say here? I activate my muscles through stretching while I'm still in bed. And then I call this an active form of prayer, and I give gratitude, and I set the intention for the day. And then I start brushing my teeth and doing the regular things, client at 8.
Brushing the teeth.
I forgot that one.
Yeah.
Gotta stay fresh.
Yes, well, thank you for coming all the way down to Los Angeles. Good morning, Salima. How are you today?
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me here on your amazing show.
So, tell us, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
You know, I get up early, 5:30, and I do 1 hour of Pilates every morning, and then I get back to the family and get the kids out of the house and then to school. If I don't travel, I work in 35 countries, so I travel a lot, but when I'm home, I take my health very serious, very serious. So, that's nothing, anything can change. I really need my exercise in the morning for 1 hour every morning.
I really admire that because I think self-care is such a priority and it shouldn't be considered a luxury. And for a lot of, especially mothers, that just goes by the wayside.
But you know, usually that's what you take away from your life first when you have a busy job and busy life. And I think you have to design your life in a way that you take care of yourself first, because otherwise you will not be a good mom, you will not be a good spouse, you will not be a good worker. So you have to take that very serious.
Well, thank you for being your best self with us this morning. We're excited to talk to you all later in the show.
That's supermoon. What?
Did you feel it?
Oh my gosh,
Did
Jess
you?
and I were talking
Yeah.
about it. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, what is
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
It was so intense.
What did it feel like? What do you feel?
For me, I get more emotional. I mean, I wasn't like crying, but it's just like, it just feels like, because we're one mind, right? So it just feels like all these thought forms are kind of floating through and you're like, whoa, like my mind is very still at night. Like it's like I'm meditating all night long. It's like, what is going on, you know? And I just feel like I get a headache sometimes. I get moody sometimes. Like I don't remember being so affected by the moon. I don't know if it's getting more intense or I'm just getting more sensitive to it.
Well, they do say as you evolve, you become more sensitive to both the pain and the pleasure, right?
I guess.
Yeah, so maybe it's that.
Do you feel the moon, Rob?
I can't say that I do. I can't say that I do, mostly. I sound like a rock. But that may have helped, it helps that, I wake up so early and I go to bed a little bit later than I probably want to on most nights. So, I slept really well. Yeah, I can't. I want to say more than that. I want to say that but I didn't feel anything last night.
That's hard because Rob is he's such a compassionate person that he will want to relate.
Yes, I do, very much.
Like he wants to go like, me too. And he's like, no,
there's something here.
no.
There's some common ground here somewhere. I just can't find it. What about you, Jess? Did you?
Well, it looked beautiful, right?
Yes, it did.
I was driving across town and it seemed like the moon was just even closer to the Earth than it had ever been. I mean, it was lighting up the sky. So I really used whatever power it has or doesn't, whatever. And I set some intentions and I was like, yes, I'm going to really manifest this moon, right? And I woke up at 2:30 in the morning and I thought, oh my gosh, I was
telling you.
Total wreck.
Yeah.
I mean, literally like crawling to the bathroom. I was like, I felt completely depleted.
Oh, wow.
It was intense. I mean, I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's just a female thing. It can't be. There's
Maybe
no
I'm
way.
so depleted that I don't recognize when I'm extra depleted. So it's just my status quo. I don't know. But yeah.
We all
so what do
felt
you do to get back centered and grounded again, Jeslyn and Erin?
One is I go, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm having this experience of whatever.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I do. And it's like, whatever it is, whatever your body needs. But yeah.
What helps?
Oh, I made a committed decision to listen closer to my body and to my needs and to really honor those first because I just felt like I was like, oh, maybe this is just a sign that I've given too much of myself. And the last bit I had left, the moon was like, whoa. Yeah. It just really accelerated that feeling.
I do think that when I'm more pure or when I'm working out more or whatever, that I don't feel it as much.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's a natural release at whatever level. And if you haven't done that already, it will do that for you.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's like whatever emotions need to be dealt with or whatever. I mean, I wasn't like crying. It just, you feel like, whoa, why do I feel kind of like icky? And like,
totally.
Like that. Yeah.
I think it may have helped that I spent, 2 decades in suicidal ideation, so I paid my debt forward. So I've owed back a little positivity. But it's such a good point. I think one of the things I do use when I'm struggling, because occasionally if you don't sleep or you just notice that you're feeling out of sorts, is simply using that as a reminder or a sort of mindfulness bell to just practice the presence. So just to practice the presence of God or spirit or that which is within me that is at perfect peace all the time.
Well, I kept thinking about the conversation we had on yesterday's show, actually, about self-soothing, and I was like, okay, what do I need to soothe myself right now? Like, what can I do to calm down, to go back to sleep? And so I really appreciated having just had that conversation with you guys and our special guests.
It's so funny because I've talked to a few people, we have lots of coaches around here and lots of people that do spiritual work. And some of my friends that typically do full moon events, they said they stopped doing them because they'd rather do new moon things because there's so much less emotion.
Wow.
It brings out, it kind of brings out people you don't necessarily want to be working with. It's like all the extremeness comes out. So, go with the new moon if you're going to do some coaching.
That's good. That's good to know. I don't know anything about any of this, so this is so helpful. It's my crash course in the moons.
Right?
Yeah.
I used to be like, that's so woo-woo, the whole full moon thing. No, we're clearly all connected, and I've never felt it so strongly. All the different cycles, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm open to receiving anything that helps me live a happier, healthier, wealthier life.
I think
including the moons.
Why we can tune into you because you've been doing some really cool, incredible teaching.
Oh, Jeslyn, how do I love Jeslyn?
Yeah.
Gosh, she always remembers the things that I don't. So we're doing an Instagram Live every Tuesday at 4 p.m. It's part of the Soul Society group, and also every Wednesday we're doing a group coaching call at 4 p.m.
On Zoom.
On Zoom.
DM us, whatever, and I'll get you the links.
It's also on my Instagram story today. Got to hear about the stories.
Yeah. I'm so excited because people want to know. They want to get your teachings.
Yeah, and I love doing it so much, and if we can, it's even better, I think, if you can have a group of folks that are all interested in accomplishing something that's very similar. You can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
I love both. I worked one-on-one with many clients, and there's such profound things that come out of working one-on-one, but there's a whole different dynamic when you're doing group coaching. I think that people learn exponentially because they're hearing other people, what they're going through, and there's metaphysical truths and things that apply to everything, and it's really fascinating. I love both of them.
Oh, totally. That's my favorite part about seminars and workshops is always the Q&A. I feel like I get the most out of the Q&A. either as a participant or as a contributor.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of Q&A, I just did a great podcast with Megan Fenyo, who was recently guest on the show and was featured on her Blonde Bombshell podcast that got released this week. So it was a really empowering
That's
Q&A.
super awesome. Jess, what was the theme?
It was really just overcoming self-doubt and adversity within yourself to really continue to be the best blonde bombshell you can be.
Well, that you are, Jess. That you are.
I love that. So speaking of Wealth Wednesday, we're going to talk today about the gap. So whenever we're working with either clients at the beginning, to basically we need to create kind of motivation, because people just typically do what they do and they say they want to change, but they don't really want to change. So one of the primary things is creating that gap and having them create that for themselves. Where are they now versus where they want to be, and what's that gap and what's it going to take to close that gap? The other thing is that's what stops us when we take a look at where we are now and where we want to be. It's like, there's this reason why I can't do that. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't know how to do that, whatever that is. And so we actually flip that into putting that on our calendars. If you don't have enough time, schedule it in. If you don't know how to get resources, schedule in a research or find a partner that knows how to do that, whatever it is, and we close that gap. So just knowing today, closing that gap. How do you close that gap?
Oh, I love this conversation, and there are so many metaphors like running through my head. So I often think about closing the gap in terms of action, like where I am and where I want to be. But I've actually discovered, probably like the two of you have, that it's really the emotional gap I'm wanting to close. And if I can close the emotional gap, I need less action, time, energy, and effort to accomplish even more than I would otherwise. And so it's about closing that emotional gap. So I use all kinds of things, mostly meditation or visualization, right? And so I think a large part of the recipe for being successful or happy or feeling abundant or loved in the world is coming to a recognition and celebration that you already are that. If you can come from that state, you need a lot less sort of action in order to get things done.
So how do you define the emotional gap?
Yeah, how do I define it? It's the feeling of being here now, observing my conditions and circumstances, judging those things, and then taking stock of where I want to be. So there's an emotional gap between emotionally feeling like, oh, I feel kind of not very motivated, or I feel a little unhappy, and realizing I want to be happy, I want to feel abundant, I want to be successful. And so it's about crossing or bridging that gap emotionally by doing the emotional work, whether it's meditation, whether it's visualization, it might be exercise, but anything that lets you feel tapped into and turned on will get you there.
Well, strategic coach is one of the OGs of coaching. You know, Dan has been around forever, and he has an actual process of it's called closing the gap. And I remember learning it years and years ago, and it changed my whole thing. And whether it be emotional, needing to close that gap for your mindset and your emotions, or whether that is an actual, need to know a skill set, it really is interesting when you write out where you are, where you need to be, and all the reasons why you can't get to that closing of the gap. And you just simply schedule it in. Like if you need to get mindset, then you need to schedule in your meditation or schedule in working with a therapist or whatever that is to get you to close that gap, whether it be the mindset or skill set.
Yeah, if it's not scheduled, it doesn't get done, right? I mean, especially in this day and age. So scheduling is everything. I absolutely love that point, Erin, sort of around minding the gap and paying particular attention to the scheduling. Are there other tips and tricks that he recommends? Oh,
so many. I mean, strategic coach was around forever. He was the one who really came up with the glass ceiling of most entrepreneurs. They close out about 150 grand per year. They can't go beyond that. It's because they don't delegate. I mean, there's just such great nuggets of coaching in that program. One of the best years ago. I think that it's not as spiritual. I mean, I think the spiritual stuff's primary, like that has to be core. But his distinctions around it were some of the best. I took so many leadership courses.
Yeah, I love that one. I know we talked about the book, The One Thing, right?
Yeah, that's a great one also.
Yeah, also Essentialism is a great book.
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, it's very similar theme. At the end of the day, we try to do too much in our lives, right? And so you spread yourself so incredibly thin.
Are you talking about me? What are you trying to say?
Guilty as charged.
Guilty as charged.
Yes, by you I meant Dr. Erin specifically. No.
It's called the energy bunny.
But when you're crystal clear about your purpose, and that's why doing the hard work up front is so helpful. If you're crystal clear about your purpose,
so true,
right? In life, not just business, but in life, you can reverse engineer accordingly and then outsource, delegate, reduce, eliminate, or worst case, automate, regulate the stuff that doesn't directly contribute to your one main purpose.
I want you to put this into worksheets.
Into worksheets?
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, I gotta work on that.
I'm gonna make him do this, okay, you guys?
I was trying to get out of work by saying all that.
He has so much a wealth of wisdom, and you need to get that into. I mean, I know probably in your book, but
no, you're right. Gotta codify it. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Let me add that to my to-do list.
Trademark it.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a break. Coming back with this amazing guest. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Live from Los Angeles, welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jess Moyer. This is Good Morning La La Land.
Hello and welcome to Hashtag.
Hi everyone, I'm Erin Ziering, and this is the Housewives of Hollywood.
I'm Joanna Garzilli. You're watching Life Stories.
So welcome to Getting Real with Pamela, a positive and purposeful show about passionate people and their journeys.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Eyes Up Here. I'm your host, Lindsay Palos.
Welcome back to another episode of Mind, Body, Spirit. I'm Dr. Kate.
It is time for another episode of Sassy and Single, because that's what I am. I'm your host, Natalie Sadie.
Hey everyone, what's going on? It's Erica Dela Cruz, the hashtag Passionista. Welcome to Passion to Paycheck.
She shares all her tricks in her new book, Your Healthiest Healthy, The Beautiful and Talented, Samantha Harris.
Hey everyone, I'm Lindsay Hoffman and welcome to the Dose of Bliss show.
I'm Harry Howard. I am him.
Welcome to the Alyssa Goodman Show, and every week I have the honor of interviewing a game changer in the wellness arena.
Hi, welcome to Defining Moments. I'm Suzanne Quas.
Hi guys, my name is Serena Poon, and welcome to my show, Serena Loves.
Hello, I'm Lauren Francesca.
I'm Brad Grunberg.
And you're watching
How to Start.
What is pussy poppin', you beautiful humans? My name is Ariane Andrew.
I'm Matt Dillon, and welcome to another episode of Sippin' the Tea.
It's going to be a good morning, La La Land. This is my first TV experience. I'm so happy I did it with you. Bye. Bye.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We're talking Wealth Wednesday, and in today's world, we have lots of mothers who are entrepreneurs as well. Liz Carlisle's in the house. She's a podcaster, mama, and Motherhood Unstressed. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
So tell us a little bit about being an entrepreneurial mother. What's that like?
You know, it was something that kind of just evolved naturally. You know, I'd started off just blogging about my experience of motherhood and how I wasn't navigating it that well. You know, I felt completely overwhelmed, completely lost. And it was through finding ways to make my self-care a priority where I clawed myself out of that hole, that baby funk, as I call it, that turned into a blog, it turned into the podcast, and then from there I was like, okay, how else can I serve? How else can I give?
So break it down for us though. How did you make your self-care a priority? I mean, what was one of the first steps or two that you really took for yourself?
Yeah, the moment where I knew I had to make a change was when I was bathing my son and I started to cry, and he was about 6 months old. And I was like, God, what am I doing? You know, this isn't how motherhood is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the best time of your life. What's going on? So the next day, I went out for a run. I left the baby with my husband. I said, I'll be back in 10, 20 minutes. We'll see how it goes. And I came back elated, and I came back filled up, and just, I knew I was onto something. You know when you feel good? We talked about this when Robert was on the cast. You feel it in your body, and you're like, I have to get there again. I have to find that place again. And so you just do it again and again and again. You schedule it, you do what you need to do.
But I gotta say, you know, my son's 23 now, and when I was a mom, they didn't have all this, I mean, social media didn't exist. We didn't have all this information. I can't even imagine how overwhelming it is as a mom in today's world. I really have a lot of compassion thinking about how intense it must be, seeing these Instagram filtered pictures of perfect moms, and I'm like, wow, that would be really too much pressure.
It's insane. And I think we all feel like we need to keep up with the Joneses and have that element of perfection. And it's just, I wish I could swear, but it's BS, you know, it's not real. And the second that you realize that, it's like a weight comes off your shoulders and you are really free to be, you know, the kind of mom that you want to be. But you can't get to that place unless you let yourself out of that prison, you know, and you do the things that, you know, are going to nurture you.
Yeah. How do you work out the childcare part while you're building a blog, while you're doing a podcast? Because I get that question a lot from moms. They're like, how the heck do I do all of this? Like, I want to build the blog, I want to continue building a blog. I want to have a TV show. I want to do a podcast, but then I've got the screaming kids like right here all day.
Right.
What do you do?
And that's a valid question. So a practical answer to that is you have to steal time. You have to get up half an hour early, an hour earlier than you normally would. When everyone is asleep and you don't have that guilt about doing something for yourself, which is crazy, but we know as women have that, and you just find the time where no one needs you necessarily to get what you need to get done, because we actually do have enough time to do what we want to do to accomplish our dreams. If we can put down our phones or we can, turn off the TV, you can make it happen if you decide.
Right. Plus, I think that, probably a long time ago, we didn't live where there was a single mom or a mother and a father and with one child. We lived in tribes, so it was very different. And I don't think that how we're living is necessarily the best way. And I think it's really intense on mothers and fathers and that relationship. How are you dealing with that? Because then you got to have time to even, connect with your partner.
You're 100% right. It's not natural for us to be so isolated, to feel like we're doing it all on our own. And you can hire out and you can pay for people, and sometimes that's what works, and you're kind of paying for your tribe. I don't really know if I have a good answer for that. You just do the best that you can, and you reach out and be okay with saying, hey, I don't have it all together. I'm kind of lacking today. And that's okay, because when you do that, people shut down their walls too, and you can connect in a real, authentic way. And that's beautiful. And I'm just learning this now, which is why I think I'm talking about it, because for a long time I was not like that. Everything's great, everything's fine.
So we know you also have a line of CBD products.
I do.
As well. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that was kind of the natural evolution of motherhood unstressed. I mean, it was like the perfect correlation. It's just another tool in your toolkit to help you feel your best, to help you battle stress and anxiety without downing a bottle of wine. Every mother I know gets home from work or ends the day with a glass or 2 or 3 of wine because it's a lot of work and you're stressed out. So do something that's not going to tax your liver, that's going to, help your endocannabinoid system so you naturally feel happier, more grounded, calmer. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's plant medicine, It was here on Earth when we arrived, and I think it's to our benefit to use it.
I love it. So what kind of products do you offer?
So we have capsules. If you're not used to the CBD oil thing, it has ashwagandha and green tea in the capsules. And then I also have a 1,000 milligram tincture, which you just place underneath your tongue. It's bitter, I'm not gonna lie. I can put it in my coffee.
I have this vision, because I know that CBD doesn't get you high or anything like that, but I have this Saturday night vision of moms that are like, yeah, this is so I'm stressed, I'm like a mom, they're smoking some weed or something, which I know that
no
CBD
judgment.
Is not, this is funny.
No, absolutely. No, there is still stigmas around CBD.
Totally. 100%.
So how does it make you feel?
So it's not like you take it and all of a sudden you're crashed out on the couch. If you took too much, yeah, you might feel a little tired. It's really more of a gentle calming. When you feel stressed and you're your shoulders are up here and you're not really breathing.
Like last night with the full moon?
Right, me too.
Oh
but when you take CBD, it's a letting down, and you just feel like you can really be your authentic self. And you just can go about your day, and you think about how much energy it takes to be stressed, to be anxious. If you let that part of yourself go, who knows what you could accomplish? And who knows what kind of person you can be in the relationships that would form because of that, because you're not thinking so much and you're not in your own head so much.
Oh,
for new mothers, is CBD safe while breastfeeding?
I would say there's not any studies to show that it's safe or not safe. So what I tell my clients is just wait, just wait, 6 months or a year, however long, and then go for it. Just to err on the side of caution.
So you and I had a phenomenal conversation on Motherhood Unstressed, your podcast. Besides the conversation with me, obviously, what would you say have been some of the highlights or some of your favorite conversations or themes in doing the podcast?
That's such a great question, because I think honestly yours was one of my favorites, just because we touched on gratitude and meditation and really being connected to that infinite intelligence that's all around us. It's something that really resonates with me and resonates with my audience. I'm still getting messages from that interview. But some other really beautiful guests, Marie Soderberg, she's a Danish actress, and we talked about hygge, which is that feeling of comfortability and calm that you have with your friends or your family and home. And you don't need to spend a bunch of money. It's just really being with your people and loving that, and you have that warm feeling in your heart. That was a really memorable one. There've been so many. I'm just having so much fun.
Well, tell people where they can find you, what they can expect from your blog and from the podcast.
Yeah, so you can find me at Motherhood Unstressed on all social media avenues. Same on iTunes, and it's evolving every single day, but really I think it comes back to just enjoying the life that we have while we're here and being with our people and just being connected to everything around us.
Yeah.
Connection.
Right, and if it takes a little CBD, then
hey,
yeah,
that's all part of it.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm Jezza Moyer, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network. EverTalk is a platform that offers insight, inspiration, and thought-provoking conversations on positivity, wellness, Insta-fame, and empowerment, all while celebrating the trials and triumphs of those who are truly igniting a change in the world.
I was really surprised and I was really thankful for how well it was received.
That's where your supernatural powers come on. That's where the magic happens. That's where you live heaven on earth.
I was left to research everything on my own because I'm like, nothing else outside of me is helping me right now. I have to figure this out.
When we want folks to be good teammates or to be leaders, you confront behavior, you don't confront personalities.
These talk shows are hosted by your favorite television personalities, celebrity entrepreneurs, and social media superstars. New binge-worthy content is added daily with exclusive access to featured products, services, and experiences available to you in the Ever Shop.
We have a universal sign to say it's okay to take a nap.
Yeah.
Like the universe is saying, please chill out a little bit, you know? So
Right.
we need to listen to that.
Jessalyn, you are absolutely beautiful, and you don't have to try at all. It's like I walked in this morning, you're the first person I met, I went, she is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And
Tell me more.
As you said, pick up the phone, like turn that text, before you turn it into a date, let's turn it into a phone call.
These talk shows are hosted by your favorite television personalities, celebrity entrepreneurs, and social media superstars. New binge-worthy content is added daily with exclusive access to featured products, services, and experiences available to you in the Ever Shop. EverTalk is #community powered, and we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLaLand, hailing all the way from Nashville. Tiffany Moses in the house, you're an incredible recording artist. We got to hear #priceless at the top of the show.
Thank you.
And I'm obsessed.
Thank you so much.
Girl crush,
Yes.
exactly.
Oh.
It's an incredible song, but the message is even more powerful.
Yeah.
So tell us about the inspiration behind Priceless.
That song just struck me. I think right now, especially in music, I think there's such a moment right now for women. It's really important, and empowering other women. But more importantly, like, regardless of relationships, I think you need to never settle in love. I think you need to know your worth. I think you need to stand up for yourself. And for this was such an important message for me to just give out to not just young girls, but also men. I think you can be mistreated as a man in a relationship as well. And that was the one thing that I connected to the most. Was I've been in relationships where you weren't treated well. And I took this into now dating again and meeting new people, was look for what you want in something, and if it's not what you want, or if it's something that you don't feel comfortable with, get out, keep moving. There's plenty of fish in the sea.
Who's been the greatest role model for those qualities in your life? Anybody specific that's modeled the self-love,
You know,
the confidence?
my mom, she's a tough cookie. She doesn't let anything pass her. And I'm told all the time that I'm a lot like her. And, you know, as a child of your parent, you don't really always want to hear that. Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm just like my mom. But that's actually a compliment. She's an incredible woman. And she's taught me to always stand my ground, be myself, and follow my dreams.
Wow, it's working out for you, isn't it?
You know, right now I'm having the best time of my life. This has been a dream since I was a little girl to record music and be on stage ever since I heard Celine Dion. And so now that I'm actually able to do that and connect with people on a much larger scale, it's everything I could have ever dreamed about.
So on Good Morning LaLa, a lot of our kind of concept around here is showcasing people's trials and triumphs. People love story. They want to know what the hardest thing you've been through and how you overcame it. What was that moment, or what was that for you?
I have a few, but I went to school to be a lawyer, and it wasn't what made me happy. It's not what I wanted. And finally, when I realized that music is exactly where I need to be, not just where I want to be, it's where I need to be, I moved back from the Bay Area to Sacramento, where I'm from, and I put a band together, and I ended up touring up and down the West Coast, doing bar gigs for sometimes up to 4 hours a night, 3 nights a week, and that was really strenuous on me, and it was hard. I mean, I even got caught in the middle of a bar fight once.
Wow.
And it's one of those things that I guess not a lot of girls get to participate in, and that was another thing, is a lot of girls aren't received well in the bars. They want kind of more of the male acts, which fine, great, but like I was there to do my job and be on stage and do what I love, and it was really hard. That part was, and I even ended up at one point having some vocal issues, because when you're singing, you know, that many hours, and then I would do 2 practices a week on top of that, where there were 3 hours at a time. So I was singing, you know, upwards, oh my gosh, you know, close to 15 hours a week.
But good for you for really listening to your intuition, for recognizing it's not what you wanted to do, but it was your purpose.
Yes.
And to risk the stability with a life as a life of a lawyer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Roll those dice, drive and perform at all these bars. I mean, it wasn't easy for you.
Not at all. And sometimes you're in, you know, audiences of 3 people. You know, so you can do one night, 3 people, and then I can do a festival the next weekend for a few thousand. And my biggest learning lesson was to know that each audience needs to be treated the exact same. And that those 3 people, yes, there might just be 3 people there, but they're there listening to you.
100%.
So it's unfair to treat them as if they're just in an audience of 3 people. So to me, even though with the struggles of going from bar to bar and doing those things, it taught me such valuable lessons when it comes to relating to an audience and just becoming a better performer and an entertainer.
I wish that more people had that attitude, realize that whether it be their business, whether it be their art, whether it be whatever, that it's really about their self-development, their spiritual growth as well, and taking it as always just stepping in the greatest version of yourself. So well said.
It's a great point. Like, it's a great point, because when you're intrinsically motivated, you go up for the one person the same way you do the 10,000 people, because you're doing it for the love of doing it.
Love doing
right,
it. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm human. There were some nights where I felt like throwing in the towel, because I'm like, what am I doing? I'm walking away, not really gaining any new listeners. I'm not doing that. But you have to kind of remind yourself that why you're there. Like, and it doesn't happen in a night. It takes the proper steps. You know, I remember before I moved to Nashville, I was with people that are essentially, you know, that I work with now, and I remember hearing a very crucial thing, and she said, you're on like step 1, and there's about 25 steps. And I think I was 21 at the time, and I remember thinking to myself, oh no, because my mom would say I'm a very impatient, stubborn girl, but when it comes to music, I've never been more willing to take those steps. And now that I'm finally here, able to actually present and show people what I've been working on all these years, I couldn't be happier that I took the time and the patience and the work to do that.
But for me, this sums up what true commitment is. When you're truly committed, it's not about, you don't even question like when the problems come or when the obstacles come, because you're just so committed to your mission.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's such a blessing when you find and discover that mission, and it's just a commitment. And I know some people have that in relationship, or some people have that in their health or whatever, and it's different for each person.
Yeah.
But getting down to that core commitment is so important for people to realize that. Wait, how did you know that? It was just one of those moments when you were leaving the law that you just went, this is it, I'm doing it?
See, I knew in my heart I was never going to pursue law.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to end up going back to do music. It was just about breaking it to
The rent.
To yourself.
Gotta bring it to the rent.
yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I just, and then I had to kind of figure out what were my steps of actually doing it.
Right.
If it's any consolation, the two unhappiest professions in the world, medicine and law. So most.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
You just.
Yes. So they make great money. They have a lot of student debt to pay off.
Right, and so, and unlike that, the musician makes sometimes no money, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
Super happy. I couldn't be happier doing this.
And you're good.
Thank
really
you.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. I've been, working at this for so many years, and it's really important to me to perfect my craft because it's my job, to make people feel something, to make, to entertain, and so I take that really, really seriously.
Totally. So well.
You and your time and you're late. Would you sing a little for us? Sing us into break.
What?
I don't mean to put you on the spot or anything. You got the mic, and I just thought maybe I had to ask.
I'm not much of an a cappella singer. I don't have a guitar with me or anything.
Tell everyone where they can find and follow your journey and get your music.
Of course, you can find everything at Tiffany Woys, TIFFANY, that's my website, my Instagram, my Facebook.
So awesome.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
But you're hotter in person.
Thank you.
And we need more Maria Conchita Alonsos in this world.
I think so.
You do. You give your heart. You have this talent, but you give and give and you help people.
Because if people knew how good it feels when you help, when you are saving a life and you're helping to save a life, if they knew how good it feels,
it feels better
even to
to
make you feel good.
I know.
You're
gonna make me cry now.
No, that's okay. It's okay.
It's the truth.
Mic check, mic check.
Well, thank you so much for coming and doing my job for me.
Hey, no problem. I'm really excited about it. I love going on shows and taking over as the host. It's really fun.
I really love it. I'm just going to sit back. If you could just ask yourself and answer some questions.
I'm going to ask myself some questions. You can just kind of sit there and react with your face as I go through.
I'm introducing an Emmy Award-winning host. I better frickin' get this right.
You knocked it out of the park. You did a great job. I'm so good at what I do, aren't I?
Okay. I hope you're filming right now.
These are the things you're taking.
The outtakes are the best.
I know.
We kind of like having her here.
Yeah, she's like, so much good morning, LALALAND. We've got things to do.
room to your set today.
That's right.
I love that.
So tell us about the proper way to actually taste this wine.
Put it in your mouth.
I love you. That's my kind of winemaker.
LOL. As you can see, we have a lot of fun here at EverTalk TV, and I'm so excited to share this journey experience with you. Visit evertalktv.com for your free 30-day subscription. EverTalk TV, anytime, anywhere. What an incredible week here at EverTalk TV. I'm Jasmine Moyer, and we'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Good Morning LaLaLand on Wealth Wednesday. Our intuition may be our greatest wealth of all, right? Lisa Thomas is in the house. She is an intuitive life coach, an energy healer, and helps people basically break through their struggles, right?
That's right. Their limiting beliefs, their inherited patterns.
And so much of that is what's keeping us from the abundance that we really know is destined for us, right? I'm guilty of that. I'm trying to work through these blocks, but it's so incredible that you have the power to be able to help people with that.
Well, what we don't understand is that we have the power within us. It's our soul that does the healing. I'm just a facilitator.
Oh,
right?
Love that. Every true healer knows that.
It's right.
That's almost a litmus test for.
But the problem is we don't know how to do that. So it's not that we can't, we just don't know how. And so my specialty is releasing these money blocks, all right? But it's coming through the inherited pattern. So we inherit many good things, our gifts and our talents from our ancestors, right? But we also inherit trauma and phobias and false beliefs and money blocks and success blocks. And so for a scientific way of saying it, we have our DNA code, each one of us. That's what makes our eyes green, our eyes blue, 5 feet, 6 feet tall. But we also have within there our epigenetics. And that is how our DNA expresses itself based on the life experiences of our ancestors.
That's such a buzzword right now, epigenetics.
Yeah.
Could you define that for us?
It's exactly that. It's how our ancestors experience their life. And then this gets passed down in our cell memory. So you can have a fear of spider, hypothetically, and never really encountered a spider. You might have a great-great-great-grandfather that got bitten and was hospitalized, all right, or put under, or, you know, really sick. And that will express itself in you.
No question about it.
You can change that expression.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's your work.
They're called informational tags, and they can be released.
So interesting. So tell us how you do that, because we've had lots of coaches, lots of people, and we realize that it's all coming down to those limiting beliefs. You know, I work with that. We all work with that.
Right.
So what modality do you use?
Well, how about like 20 of them morphed into a gift of being able to hear and understand ancestors. All right. So I was born clairvoyant, but that was a burden. That's a burden when you're a child. You know, we know more now about crystal children and things like that. But when I was a little girl, I didn't know anything about that. But what I do is I access the body through kinesiology. So a client will come to me, for example, I was working with a client and she was making ends meet, but she made a lot of money. And so she's like, why do I just make ends meet every month? Well, there ended up being an inherited pattern of indecisiveness that went back just 3 generations. And right? And because it was such a small time frame, she actually knew what happened. And it was her great-great-grandfather during the Depression, all right? Well, he gambled away his large manufacturing plant and lost everything. So how this was being expressed in her life was through indecisiveness, but everything was a gamble. All these little decisions she couldn't make. It was like causing anxiety and worry. But once it was released, she went from making $250,000 to over $500,000.
I am so glad that you're talking. This is, for me, this is truth bombs, like all day long. This is the real deal. Because when I work with clients, you go into those past lives, and whether you want to believe in past lives doesn't matter. You have a DNA that has all the past lives.
Right.
And when you start to track this, it adds up, and people just have these profound breakthroughs. I'm so glad that you're putting this into language that's so people can understand this and scientifically based. So important. This is incredible.
Thank you.
So tell us about your personal journey. So you're born like this?
Yeah, I was. Okay. And so for most of my life, okay, I really went in and out of depression, especially after I had children. And I've been successful in my careers, different careers over the years, but it was an ongoing battle. And then okay, let me see if I can make it just a short story, okay? One particular modality that I was learning, because it was a hobby. I never really worked on clients. I had a belief that if I could not be spiritual and prosperous. So if I were to do anything, right, then all my gifts would be taken away from me. So I didn't do anything. They were burden energy for me. Until this one particular modality, I had to work on people. Oh yeah, that changes everything.
It changes everything.
Right? But that was the biggest aha. I remember the first time a client left, I was in tears, just flowing tears, like I cannot believe this is why I am who I am. I found it. I'm in my purpose. What comes easiest is what I'm going to be best at. So for example, I'm booked until the mid-April. Why do I say that? I'm not bragging, I promise. It's because I'm in alignment with who I am. I'm in my purpose. And what comes easiest is what will make us our money.
And
right?
Oh my gosh, totally.
So, you know, it's interesting you say that, because I found that as I work more and more with clients, it's almost like, first of all, it's doing our spiritual work where we're in client work, and we're up leveling ourselves. It's almost like we're almost like doing our amends at some level. Do you not feel that?
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel that you become stronger?
Every single time. It's
every single time.
There's this multiplied abundance up through the whole process. It's incredible.
It is. Yeah.
So profound.
So it's really the subconscious, everybody. It knows everything about us. Your subconscious is your master controller.
This is my new best friend.
I think we're going to be together.
I've noticed already.
Right?
Absolutely.
And,
I like you.
And your body will tell me, you, what needs to be released. Because they're just energy blocks. In fact, I have a great analogy. Think of the character in Charlie Brown named Pigpen, right? Okay, he has the dust cloud on all over him. I think of those as in the body, and I'm just going to go in and pull those out so that you can see out ahead of you more clearly, and so that other people can really see you for who you are. Because how often do you feel misunderstood? Because they aren't really seeing you for who you are.
Wow. Profound.
Yeah.
So when someone comes to work with you, what does
Yes.
that kind of look like?
It's a good question. They sit with me right next to me on my sofa, all right? And I come down the governing meridian. So because people like us, right, all of us really, I'm a real empath. So I don't watch the news because I don't want to feel it, I don't want to take it in, I don't want to worry about it. So what I do is I use magnets to come down the governing meridian is the back, so lean forward. I'm going to come right down the back here, all right, with a set of magnets because I can feel where things are trapped in the body. I don't want to take it in, so it's for me. I'm just releasing, coming down like this, and then I don't have to worry about taking it in.
Does
that make sense?
Do you know that that's how the entire healing movement started? Do you know that? Yeah,
through magnets?
Through magnets.
Wow.
It was a long time ago over in Europe, and I forgot.
Mesmer.
Mesmer. That's
right.
correct. That's exactly what happened. And he was using magnets, and he was having all these profound breakthroughs for people. But then one day, he forgot the magnets.
Yeah.
And he just did the same practices, and he realized
it worked.
It worked.
It was all worked.
It works anyway. So I use them so I don't have to worry about taking it in. That's, and it does, but I work with a lot of people in other countries. So the majority of my clients right now are not in California. And so I do that over the phone.
Interesting.
So of course everybody's going to want to work with you. Question, they already apparently are. And but for those folks who maybe want to work with you, but they want to get a little start before they can get on your, what would they do? What would you recommend they do to begin just starting to sort of tap into their own intuition and release some of these blockages they might be experiencing?
That's a really good question. So think of an emotion that triggers you, right? You have one?
Sure.
Okay. And then your first thought, use your intuition here. I'm big on intuition, okay? Did you get it from your mother or your father? What is it?
That's a really tough one. They're both watching.
Okay, but see, there's no
lineage.
You have to release the judgment.
Yeah.
It's the lineage. It's not literally. There's no blame in this.
Right.
We wouldn't pass anything down to our children on purpose.
Right.
They didn't pass it down to us on purpose, and I call it a tender mercy to be able to release what isn't ours, so that we can be who we came to Earth to be.
Yeah, I love
Amen.
that.
Right?
Wow.
So do you do workshops only? Or do you just work one-on-one?
I do workshops. I have healing meditations. These are a little bit different than just in Zen mode. I'm literally tapping in. I create a visual because the subconscious has to get on board with your transformation, or it's going to work against you because it's trying to protect you. And they're on different topics, but then I go into a releasing genre here, and your subconscious by that point in the meditation will start to release the emotions that I've honed in on.
Oh, fantastic.
I love it. Such great work.
Thank you.
So how can they find you? How can they follow you? Do you have any books?
I have a brand new book coming out in March. It's called Mistakes into Money. Right?
Love the alliteration.
I'll like the first signed copy, please.
All right. Yeah.
We'll definitely have to have you back, for sure.
We all get trapped in our mistakes, thinking we can't do or go to the next level, and I just don't believe that.
Oh, fantastic.
So
Where can
there's
people find you
tips and
online?
tools. Lisa Thomas, Energy Healer.
Energy Healer, so we're going to look out for the book.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mistakes into Money.
We'll have to
Thank
come
you
back.
for having
So
me
appreciate
on.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it so much.
So great.
And it's never too late to start. The worst thing in the world that anyone could have is regret. And I have come across and had conversations with people in their 70s and their 80s and their 90s. And the number one thing that I hear from them is regret. I wish I would have done this. Or do you know, I had the opportunity to be a dancer or to be a singer or to be able to move my family across the country to be able to live in this area or this industry. It's never too late, no matter what your age. Doesn't matter if you're young, it doesn't matter if you're older. I'm Life Master Tony Lanny, and you're watching Life Masters.
Hi everyone, I'm Tanya Memi, and I'm the founder of Life Masters. Life Masters is an online platform where you can have access to people who are passionate, positive thinkers, and want to help people live better lives. If you want to be a life master, we would love to hear from you. We'd love to have you on our show. You do a one-on-one interview with me, and then you share with us some of your most golden nuggets of information to help change people and create the best life that they can create possible. So we'd love to have you be a part of the family, part of the show. Life Masters, come and join us.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. It's an absolute honor to welcome Sula. Oh no, I'm terrified.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
You are such an incredible motivational leader, TED Talk speaker, UN ambassador, and I admire your work truly, and your beautiful name. I'm sorry.
You know, when I moved to US very recent, and my name is Sulaima Gourani, and it's a Moroccan Danish name, and the Americans find it very difficult to pronounce. So actually, in US, they just call me kind of Soul.
Ah.
You know,
okay.
yeah. So I'm like, go with that then.
I love that.
I like it.
So is that available on Instagram?
Right.
Yeah. I will have to find out.
You have probably a dream career for millions of people. Millions of people would love to be a speaker. That's one of the people, you know, when we survey people, they want to do a book and they'd love to be a speaker, even though it's one of their greatest fears as well. You tour like how many countries and do how many talks a year, would you say?
Approximately 200 talks a year. And I work in 35 countries, everything from Mongolia, Saudi Arabia, Italy, all over the world. Only a few countries I've not been speaking in.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if your agent is watching, I want to be, I want you.
Yes.
Look at you. Look at you speaking up here. I love that.
Yeah.
So, Slava, tell us though about the moment you made the decision to embark on this journey.
Yeah, you know, actually, my crucial moment was in 2007. I used to be corporate, working for very big organizations like HP, Maersk, the biggest shipping company in the world, like climbing the ladder in the corporate world. And in 2007, I was pregnant with my first child and I was laid off. I know it's illegal, but it does happen. And I decided I will never again be in a position where anyone can fire me. And I was pregnant and I went for it. I decided to become a consultant, and I've always been speaking, entertaining and motivating, like as part of my job. But I turned it into a career. And I became a speaker. I didn't know anyone else speaking as a career. I didn't know anyone doing it. And it became my life, and I never looked back ever since. So that was in 2007. I decided to become a full-time speaker. But I've been speaking like on and off since 2002, and I came up with a few books, but that was when I decided to become a full-time speaker.
How did you turn sort of that part-time passion into a full-time calling and become successful at it? How did you do that? What were the critical or pivotal moments or steps or decisions you made that allowed it to take off?
First, you have to decide that you want to have it as a job. And like anything else, you talked about it this morning, closing the gap. What do you need? What themes? What audience? What platforms, what market, and when you have that right, you start marketing yourself, you start connecting with people who are in those markets, and then you build up your branding, and you design a strategy, and you go for it. And you know, you have to deliver one good talk, another good talk, a good talk, and then people start recommending you. So every time I go on stage, I get 4 new requests, 1 to 4. So it's
that's a great hit. Wow.
It is, yeah.
It is.
I mean, that's really good.
So what have you learned about yourself and traveling 36 countries and doing over 200 engagements? What have you learned?
So by speaking 200 times a year, I touch approximately 50,000 people a year through my talks live and even more online. What you learn is really to connect with people, but you also feel the suffering and the unhappiness and all the dreams that are stuck in so many people all over the world. And by traveling 35 countries, you start realizing we all want the same things in life. It doesn't matter whether you're in Saudi Arabia or you're in Italy or you're in Israel, you want the same things in life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And we all are moms and dads, and we have siblings and family, and we want good things to happen. But we are in the hands of politicians, or regulations, or laws, or something else that limit our views of life. So I feel the world, and that, of course, gave me the idea to start going online, so that more people will have access to my knowledge. Because if you're not employed somewhere or lucky to be in a company who hired me, it's very unlikely you will hear what I have to say. And I think everyone deserves access to inspiration and tools, right?
And you have a really important message, because we know that, you know, we were talking yesterday about entrepreneurs, and I think there's like 29 million entrepreneurs, but still that's a very small amount when you take a look at the, what, 333 million Americans or something, is that right? How many people have jobs that need to make a transition or get a better job or do whatever? So your marketplace is probably the largest for people who are really going to be listeners.
First of all, we have to understand that too many people are looking. I want to inspire people to create a job. Very different. And if you look at the kids that goes to elementary school today, when they graduate, they're gonna go out to have jobs. 68% are gonna have jobs that do not exist yet. And thanks to technology, thanks to the connected world that we have today, there's really no excuse for not creating your dream job. But most of us, we just dream, right? I want to be a speaker, I want to be an author. But how do you actually turn your dreams into plans? That's a strategy, and for that you have proven methods, you know?
But before some people even recognize what that dream might be, how do they recognize the talent within themselves?
Most people don't find it. Truth being is most people don't find it because, first of all, I was told all my life that I didn't have any talents. I grew up as a brown immigrant girl in Denmark, and they're all white and blonde, and so I was told that I was, you know, not the right size or whatever you can say. So and nowadays to find your talent means that you have to see something in someone else that ignites something in you. But if you don't have access to inspiration, you might never know what's your talent. If you grow up in a town where everyone is golfing, you will never know that you're good at basketball. So you need to have access to inspiration, and then you need someone, a community who will back you up. A community of people who might not know how you get there, but they cheer for you. So a global community or mentorship or whatever, and then of course you need a plan to stick to it, because even if it's your talent, you still have to work pretty hard to turn it into a success.
So true. So how can people, they obviously can hire you to speak. Can they work with you beyond that? They can get your books. You're like, I just came up with a few books also. I heard that earlier also, right?
Yeah, I've written 3 of my own and 16 with others. And yeah, actually one of my ebooks in the US was downloaded in 300,000 copies.
Wow.
So I'm very proud of that because I'm Danish, right? I learned to speak English in 2007. So for me, it's amazing. So it's a very new way of working. I do online coaching as well, and I have an online community called Women Reignite. Sorry, but I focus on reigniting women.
We need it. Yes,
I think empowerment. I'm a UN Women ambassador, so I'm strong. Connected to women because they have so much potential, men as well, but many have helped men for so many years.
Oh my goodness, forever.
So now I want the women to actually turn their dreams into to plans.
Amazing. So how can they find you? How can they find that platform?
Sulaima.com or womenreignite.com.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah.
So much.
Thank you so
grateful
much.
for you.
So
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
Mind the gap. Today we're talking about how to mind the gap and really bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. On Wealth Wednesday, we're live from Los Angeles. This is Good Morning La La Land. Question I have for each of you today is, how have you minded or bridged that gap from where you were to where you are now? Was there a specific tool, tip, technique, teacher that was most helpful? What would you recommend to viewers if they want to accomplish their dreams?
All right, let me bring it my hair.
I released inherited patterns. I released those blocks that were holding me back.
Yeah, so awesome.
And took action.
Mine is all about, Ben, just the work ethic and never quitting. And I think that regardless about what we all do, we kind of have a drive and a passion, and some, you know, nothing's too big, nothing's too small, and just keep focusing on that and that dream. And I think there's a time and a place for everybody.
Nice.
Strong. First of all, you have to dare to dream, right? I mean, just to dream and find the right dream. And then to find out what is my talent. And if you don't know what your talent is, find out how to find your talent. If you have excuses in your life, lack of time, lack of energy, lack of competences, lack of relations, then start mapping what you need to go to get there where you want to do. So actually it's very strategic. It's a method. And when you start working strategic with your own life and your career, you will get there.
Fantastic.
I love that answer, first of all. I would just add on to that just by saying, remember your why. You know, when things get tough, when that work ethic needs to come through, remember your why and strategize, and you'll get it done.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. We are Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And you can catch all these interviews available as a podcast on iTunes.
That's right. We're waking up the world together. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and check out these amazing divine women. Have a beautiful day.
It's going to be a Good Morning La La Land.